There we go. Now the mic's unmuted. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Ty from agiprodj. We're here, episode 8, After Hours, Product Spotlight today. We're going to talk about Innofaders, and hopefully we're going to catch up with DJ Rhino a little bit later on tonight and talk to him about wireless speaker systems and what he's doing to keep himself busy during stay-at-home orders, pandemic, lockdown, yada, yada, yada. Tonight we're talking to Pat, DeeJay Queazy. He's here representing Innofader. Boom! There he is. What's up, Pat? And your mic's not unmuted. Somebody unmute Pat.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Pat. How you doing, man?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure, man. You know, you're just our second choice. We couldn't get Elliot, so we're really happy you're here. No, definitely.
Soon, in due time.
Right? We got to get Elliot on here, right?
We do.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, Pat, introduce yourself. Actually, I have a question first, and I'm putting you on the spot live because you have no idea I'm going to ask this. Where did DeeJay Queazy come from? Were you really sick your first gig, like nerves or what?
Close.
Tell me.
You're close. So hip-hop changed my life. I grew up skateboarding, listening to punk music. And I think in 90, man, when was Wu-Tang Return to the 36 Chambers? Wu-Tang's first album changed my life, and it got me. I fell so in love with hip hop, and I thought I would rap. Battle rapping was kind of big at the time, like super underground. They called me Sick P, right? Corny name. And I was like, you can't call me Sick P. I can't. So, I went around, I was like, Queazy is pretty interesting. And I rapped for a little while, and then I got into production, and I went by super producer Queazy. And then when I fell in love with DJing about 20 years ago, I was like, it only makes sense to be DeeJay Queazy. And because of that, Queazy, there's only one other DeeJay Queazy. I think it's this girl from New Jersey, and she really only makes drum and bass mixtapes, and she's not even active anymore. So if you search DeeJay Queazy in Google, I got like the first 4-page results. It's everything.
You like own it.
I own it. DeeJay Queazy.
Right,
there's a lot of different DJs share names, but there's not many DeeJay Queazys. You hear it, you know it sticks.
Right on. That's cool. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, man.
We are also joined this evening by DJ Avenue, our very own Ramon. What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys?
You know, it's been so long since I've talked to you.
I know. It's been, what, an hour and a half, maybe?
Exactly. So,
since I came home.
Yeah. So Ramon's hanging out in our after hours, joining us tonight. And Ramon's been on the crew for a long, long time and has seen the evolution and the product progression of Innofader. So we thought it would be appropriate to bring him in and his dog. Great. That's really great.
Yeah, let me get her out of here.
Pat, talk to me. Show everybody the mixer. Let's show everybody the AEM100 first, right?
The AEM100. So this
history.
This is what birthed the Innofader right here. This is the AEM100. There are a few iterations of this mixer, the AEM100i. There are not many out in the wild with these transform buttons that have the transform controls. To kind of go back in time, Elliot was a young karaoke DJ going to MIT. He graduated and he started to create. He created what was known as the Beat Keeper. It was the first hardware device to ever count BPMs. You would run 2 sets of RCAs in. It had 2 sets of RCAs out. So it listened, it gave you your BPMs, and it had a phase meter in the middle. And it would listen for your kicks and your snares. So it would tell you if you were in phase. It was the first time any DJ ever had an opportunity to kind of cheat or get an easier way to figure these things out. And he wound up, he was working with Chris Roman. They went to Newmark, and Newmark loved it, and they picked up the Beat Keeper. It was then rebranded, sold under Newmark. They used it in a lot of their products. Elliot was one of the lead engineers for Newmark for many, many years. And after Newmark, he said he wanted to make a mixer. And the AEM100 is so much more than just an analog mixer. I'm sure you can see all these knobs and all these little buttons and switches on here, oscillators, filters, band cut, band pass, digitize, stutter, noise, just tons and tons of stuff. This thing had 4 1/4-inch inputs before 1/4-inch inputs were cool. 1/8-inch inputs, fader start, tons and tons of inputs and outputs, just crazy. At the time,
and it was $400,
and it was only $400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing
Yeah.
mixer. And here it stands, so many years later, and these things are still tanks. But what he found was, at the time, he was polling DJs, and he's like, hey, what kind of crossfader should I use? We need something that's going to kind of fit in with the Vestax era vibe. And they went to use another crossfader. And over time, it was a contact fader. And over time, the fader developed a lot of problems. And Elliot started to think, he's like, Elliot didn't invent the contactless fader. Focus created the I believe it's the photo interrupter contactless fader with the Focus fader and the Focus series mixers with Stanton back in the day. But there was really nobody that had any sort of aftermarket faders for people that they could, use. And Elliot released a series of AEM100s. There's the Beatkeeper. Amazing. Yep. That thing's awesome. Elliot released a series of AEM100s with an Innofader in it to kind of introduce it. But I think at the same time, he kind of approached the retail strategy with the aftermarket fader. The first one would have been the Innofader. Didn't really have a, Pro or P&P. It was, it looked just like this. This is your Pro 2. This is our current kind of flagship model, but it looked just like this, had two potentiometers at the bottom, and had two really big adapter boards that were kind of like the Swiss Army knife of adapter boards.
Right.
And that was the first foray about 13 years ago into aftermarket faders. A few upgrades to the Pro, and then he came up with the P&P, which is the plug and play. They use simple adapters, don't need any adapter boards. And then 2012, the Mini came on the market due to OEM needs with DJ Tech and Native Instruments, most notably the Z2. And then the Mini became a retail version as well. Now the Mini fits in tight spaces, it fits in controllers, portables, you name it. And that's just a kind of a brief summary of how we got from the Beatkeeper to the AEM100 to having faders for aftermarket use.
And it should be noted that in addition to the Beatkeeper and the Innofader, I mean, Elliot's had his hand in a number of things. He's I believe, an electronics engineer, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yep.
DSPs.
Or as you call him, the mad scientist.
He's the mad scientist. So
he's the mad scientist. Elliot has worked on a lot of projects that are near and dear to a lot of DJs' hearts. Elliot's a real humble guy. He doesn't go around bragging. He's not going to be flashy and rattle off all of his accomplishments. But
we
Elliot
can do that for him.
Yeah, Elliot has done a lot in his 20-something year career in the DJ industry. And like I said, he started out as a karaoke DJ. He was never really like a full-fledged kind of turntablist or anything, but he really loved this kind of subculture of DJs, most notably scratch DJs at the time. He really enjoyed making products that they could benefit from and watching them get excited and just like, oh my goodness, this fader's amazing. It's so customizable. It doesn't bleed. It feels good. And he really enjoyed that. And I think that kind of propelled him to get to the point where, it took off, and now Innofader is just, everywhere.
Right. We were at, it was probably my first NAMM, maybe my second NAMM. And it was before Elliot had a booth. There was no Audio Innovate booth. And we were just meeting out front, like not even on the show floor. And we were talking about faders. And I think he had the AEM100i with him, maybe the old AEM100. And this kid like comes running up and he's like, "You're the Innofader guy." And he's like, we're like in the middle of shooting videos. And he's like full on interrupted him. And his dad's all trying to talk. And Elliot's just like, "Whoa, hang on a second." Yeah. So, I mean, it was, people knew who he was. Like you said, he's super humble dude, but people knew what he was and who he was and what he was making and what he was contributing to DJs for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I remember going at the NAMM show. This is probably maybe like 5-6 years ago. And Elliot is like, we caught Elliot just crossing paths, and he's like, "Hey, come over here. I want to show you something." And then we had a full meeting of him showing us, I think it was the P&P at the time. I can't remember what it was, but it was literally over a trash can right outside the show floor. And he was like, here's this. And we're just like, but he just geeked out on it. And it was just the coolest thing that, didn't have a booth or anything like that, but man, he gets love. And if you walk by him, you would never think that this is a guy that creates such, great faders for all the DJ community. But he's an awesome guy.
And speaking to that one, I think the instance you're referring to is actually it's on video. I think AGI actually shot some video of that encounter. He actually had a test board where he was going over it and he was showing it. But the one thing that stands out to me about that video is the smile on his face. You can't fake these things, man. He was so happy to show and share this with people.
Yeah.
It's, just see Elliot standing there with that big smile. There he is. There's the Inno Daddy.
Right on. So how did you connect with Elliot, and how did you become part of the Innofader team?
Yeah, good question. I've been in sales all my life. I was a store manager of a big box men's clothing chain at age 21, moved to Florida, started having kids with my wife, kind of my high school sweetheart. I had a lot of sales experience, had a lot of business experience. And at the same time, in parallel, I was, growing as a DJ. I was doing nightclubs in St. Augustine and Jacksonville. Life kind of moved around a bit. We kind of came back to the Gulf Coast, linked with a bunch of DJs out here having residencies and starting up my own DJ business. And I met a DJ Fumo, who's from Japan. He's half Italian, half Japanese. Real great guy. He was living in Tallahassee, going to school, I believe at FSU, or it could be his wife, one of the two. But he was in FSU, Tallahassee, Florida. We linked. We became friends. Long story short, Fumo was working with DJ Tech. He was kind of like their U.S. product manager, ambassador, and he was going to transition from DJ Tech to go work with Mixars. Some of the people from DJ Tech left to go start Mixars with RCF. And NAMM was approaching. This was in December. And he called me up one night about 11, 12 o'clock at night. And he's like, hey, man, listen, DJ Tech needs somebody to come out to NAMM, and they need somebody to showcase. And I was like, I'm your guy. And when I got off the phone with him, I was waiting for a phone call from Hong Kong that occurred at about 1 a.m. I got off the phone with Chris Ho from DJ Tech. And, he gave me the deets, said, this is the plan. We're going to bring you out here. I got off the phone with him and I told my wife, I said, we're good. You don't understand? I'm going to NAMM. I watch what happens. I didn't have any intention of going out there and just DJing. I wanted to go out there and share my passion for what I know about the industry and find a way into the industry to do what I love and, use the hustle that I've learned throughout the years in doing something that I've always been just super amazed by, super impressed. I love the DJ culture, the hip hop culture. Working with DJ Tech US product manager, we worked on a lot of projects together. One of the things I did was like social media. We would do some product development, and I did that for about 2 years. And in that whole time period, I got an opportunity to really get close to Elliot. DJ Tech was using the Innofader in these DIF1S, DIF2S. A lot of input. I was able to give input about, putting the built-in Inno adjuster in these DJ Tech mixers, adding the extra value, et cetera, et cetera. And then probably 2 NAMMs later, Elliot comes into we were showing with Mixware at the time. It was the last time DJ Tech showed at NAMM. And Elliot came in the back and he sat me down and he's like, hey, he's like, man, he's like, you know what? You know more about this stuff than I do. And it was kind of a sarcastic joke, but he said, man, he's like, I really like you to come on board and work with me full time. And that was it. Once I got on board and had the opportunity, I didn't stop. He had certain things that he wanted me to do, but I just took hold. And I was like, look, we're going to hustle hard and we're going to do cool stuff. We're going to, continue to connect with the DJ community, and the rest is history.
Right on. Very cool. So, obviously, you're based in the U.S. Elliot has bounced between Hawaii and Asia and back and into the mainland. So, it's nice to have you there as the face and the front line for Innofader in the United States. I know you talk to guys all the time. You provide tech support, help with the troubleshooting. It's not like you just buy a box of parts and and I don't know if you've ever bought an Innofader before, but when you open this up, it's literally a box of parts. There's wires and boards and adapters, but it all makes sense once you start getting this, you start the process of putting it in your mixer. So
reading the instructions.
Yeah, read the manual and I know videos and tutorials and whatnot. So it's the company's exactly there you go, RTFM.
Manual.
The company's come a long way since it was just Elliot, and then he had a small crew that he had that helped him out. And
by the way, guys like Drew Bach, who's currently at Pioneer right now. Mark from DJ Works, I believe he designed the Innofader logo. Anthony Gardner, DJ Nas, Rated R, Image from the Wood. Oh man, there's so many. I'm forgetting. Phil,
a lot of big names in the industry.
Phil Lee. Man, there's just so many. And then of course you talk about the partnerships. One of the beautiful things about Innofader is yes, we have our aftermarket faders. You can buy them and you can fit them in pretty much anything. But in 2012 we started our first 2 partnerships, DJ Tech and Native Instruments. Shouts out to Jim Mazur. I know a lot of people know Jim. After that, it just kind of took off. The Akai AMX, the Newmark Scratch, the Zone 96 has an Innofader in it as a crossfader. We've got a Reloop Elite right here. This is 3 Innofader Mini Pros, which is the evolution of our OEM crossfader, fully adjustable, super duper sharp. 1,200 points of resolution, just amazing crossfaders in there. But yeah, we've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different brands. Our newest collaboration is with Mixfader. The Mixfader now has an Innofader in it, and this is actually kind of like a 4-way collaboration. I like to bring people in whenever possible, add value to the customer experience. So this has got a custom skin by 12-inch skins. It's got a cooler cap on it. It comes with a special slip mat from Glowtronics. And of course, it's got the Mixfader app. You can do DVS on your portable. And it's non-contact Innofader. All the functions still work. So what's cool about Innofader is, we've got this whole retail side of business, but we've got this whole opportunity to work with like whoever we want, because that's the nature of our business. There's nobody's going to look at us and say, oh, you're working with them. This is the nature of our product, and it's always been this way. We've always wanted compatibility with many people. So, it's a real interesting place to be, because not everybody has that luxury of being able to say, hey, come on, you over there, let's all get together and let's make something cool and bring really cool stuff to the market for the DJs, and do it in a real small kind of contained atmosphere. We don't need big board meetings. There's not a lot of people that need to make decisions. We can make decisions on a dime. We can pivot, and we can make stuff happen really quick.
Right on. Very cool. So in addition to, like you said, the retail boxes, the Innofaders that you can put in aftermarket, there's the whole OEM business as well. And the more Innofaders that end up in mixers out of the box, it's better for the brand, it's better for the exposure, it's better for product development, and we're on multiple iterations of these different faders, and they keep getting smaller and smaller and more features, and it's just all good for the brand for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we could go down a list of which mixers will accept an Innofader, but we could be here for like an hour and a half. So let's talk current mixers that'll take an Innofader.
Current mixers that take an Innofader. Right now, the Rain 72. We're working on the Rain 70. That'll be done in just about 2 weeks. We just have to update the firmware. The brackets are all there. There's literally Pioneer S9.
So here's a question, and I don't want to poop on Pioneer, but why would you switch out the Pioneer crossfader with an Innofader? What do you get?
So that's a great question. So there's a lot of reasons.
And I don't want to single out Pioneer. Let's just remove that whole piece of it. So why would you replace a stock fader with an Innofader? What do you gain by that upgrade?
Well, the number one thing that you gain is you gain 13 years of fader development and understanding what DJs want and communicating with DJs and trying to find that sweet spot of trying to make everybody happy. You get peace of mind knowing that if that fader breaks or if that fader craps out on you, that you're not going to have to wait for the manufacturer to go, ship your stuff back. We'll give this, 2 weeks and we'll have it for a month. something goes wrong, and more likely than not with an Innofader, you're not going to have any problems. But if you do, you can pick up the phone and you can call somebody on their cell phone. You'll get a human most of the time, unless they're on the phone or going through coronavirus stuff. In the current state of things. But 9 times out of 10, you'll get a human being on the phone. If that doesn't work, you can get an email response within 24 hours. If something breaks, if something happens, if a stem breaks, if you flood. Yesterday, I just talked to a guy. He flooded his fader in his Z2. Factory OEM fader that we sold to Native Instruments, 8-7 years ago. He flooded it with deoxit. He was like, "I'm sorry, no problem. I'll send you another one." And that's just kind of how we roll. We just look out for people. So at the end of the day, you're getting peace of mind on the most used and abused part of that mixer that you use. And not only are you getting peace of mind, you're getting upgraded performance 99% of the time. An Innofader is a better fit for that product most of the time. And it's subjective, but from a technical standpoint, a lot of times these faders in these OEM products are afterthoughts. So it's not really a main focal point. Maybe they put a year or two designing this particular fader. Well, again, we've been working on these faders for so long that we already know the shortfalls, and we already know where we could hit a roadblock or it may become a problem. So we've already addressed it, and we continue to address it going forward.
Cool.
And it's not. I was going to ask you really quick. It's on something like a Rain 72. It was something that Elliot and the guys that work along with it. It's not just like, hey, it fits, let's throw it in and good to go. It's Elliot literally had to reverse engineer a fader like that, right? And how long does a process like that normally take to develop for, like, let's just say the 72? Because I know that one took a little bit of time to kind of reverse engineer.
So great question. So we have the Innofader PNP2 specifically for the Rain 72. In a week or two, it'll probably be branded 70 series. First you've got to get the bracket right, because we didn't want to put a mini Innofader in the Rain. We didn't want to put a mini Innofader in the Rain 72 when it has the depth. The problem is the PCB for the fader contour kind of sticks out, so the depth of one of the full size faders was just a little bit too long. So we've been doing this many years. Before the minis came along, Elliot had what was called the Innobender. And what that did is it would take these full-size faders, and it would have a bracket, and it would have a stem adjustment, and you could actually put the fader on its back, and you can put it in a controller like a VCI 380, VCI 400. You can put it at an angle like this or an angle like this. So all we had to do is just make the calculations, get the stem, get it right, make sure it lines up, and then, create a bracket that will allow the fader to sit in the Rain 72 at about an angle kicked out enough to kind of miss that PCB. And then that's easy. That only takes a few weeks, maybe a month at best, to go from design and some sort of software to the finished product off the assembly line. Yeah, look, you have one of those.
I know, right?
That's a collector's item at this point. There's not many of those floating around.
This is our last one. So yeah, I interrupted. Go ahead.
You might want to hold on to that one. No. But the real cool thing, and this is again where Elliot's genius comes in, is a lot of times manufacturers, for instance, Allen and Heath, they have.
I think we lost him for a minute. I think the Rona got him.
That's not funny yet. Kevin, I'm gonna let you try to get Pat back. We can go through some of these questions.
Yeah.
Truett asked if they're available for the 62. Can you adjust the cut-in time? Yes, it's available for the 62, and yes, cut-in time can be adjusted. Absolutely. And will Innofader still work with video? Ramon, correct me if I'm wrong, it does send MIDI, correct?
I believe it does send MIDI.
Yeah, Ivan said all new Innofaders have the MIDI to control Serato video or mix emergency. There you go. Thanks, Superfly. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
What else do we got?
There's a feeling to adjust on the S9.
You do, yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you've got an S9 and you have the Pioneer fader in there, you do lose the tension adjustment for sure.
Yeah.
So there's
plenty. there's plenty of customers that purchase a new mixer from us, and instantly they'll buy, let's just say a 70 or 72 actually, and they'll buy a Innofader right away because they just like that feel. They like that. They already had it on a previous mixer that they just want that. They're already comfortable with that. And then again, not to bash anything that Rain has done with their mag faders. It's just that this is something they just like, and they like the feel of it. And I agree. I like the faders.
Yeah,
do a good job.
Sure. Absolutely. Somebody had asked about, where is it at? Yeah, Ivan had said that the stem breaks on the S9. That is definitely, it's definitely something that's had an issue for sure. I would be really interested to know how many stems have broken on Innofaders. I bet it's not many. David, I was just looking up the answer to your question. What about any in the new Denon DJ gear? So MC7000 is a mini Innofader Plus. X1800 is an Innofader PNP2. MCX8000 mini Innofader Plus. So yes, it does work with some of the new Denon stuff as well. I would assume that piggybacked on that X1800 will be the X1850. It's likely going to be an Innofader PNP2. So,
did you say the Prime 4 also in there? I didn't hear it.
Oh yeah, yep. Prime 4 also.
Innofader.
Mini Innofader Plus. So, so there you go.
Yeah. And they're really, honestly, there's a lot of great videos. Ivan did a great video on how to install it on a 72. And I've actually sent, like I said, I've sent customers to his video just because super easy to follow. It can be a little daunting when you get it because you see all these extra parts, but you kind of have to look at it as like IKEA furniture, right? Like you get all these parts, but they're labeled and you'll figure it out which ones you need, and then you just put it all together.
Well, and the nice thing is that it's the Innofaders have test lights on them. So
that's
he's back.
Guys, I apologize. 2020 MacBook can't tell me when my battery's about to die.
You would think that would be a feature, yeah.
Screen went blank. I was like, "Where's my battery notification?" Screen went blank. The first thing I thought was, "Where's my battery notification?" It was plugged in, but these new mags, the USBC ones are so heavy. These 82 or 94 watt ones, it fell out. But I'm back, so I'm here. Where were we?
We're leaving off on just kind of the development on how long it took like Elliot to do something like the 72.
72. The coolest thing about the 72 is the bracket was easy. But like I was saying, we work with a lot of different brands, and Allen and Heath, for instance, they make mixers with regular faders in there. But what they'll do is they'll say like Innofader ready, and what that means is if you go to remove the factory fader, they actually have a double-sided bracket in there, and that double-sided bracket is there. So when you remove the factory fader, you flip it around, and it's perfect for an Innofader, right? You don't even have to use our bracket. But sometimes other brands, they want to keep their stuff close, and it rightfully so. Some of these brands are very premier brands. They don't want to just make it easy. So Elliot is, again, the mad scientist. He sat there with an oscilloscope for 4 days, and he listened to what the faders said to the brain in the 72. He recorded all of those communications, and then he made a chip that went in between the Innofader PNP and the brain of the 72. And what it did is it tricked the 72 into thinking the PNP was, in fact, a Mag 3.
That's like buying aftermarket printer cartridges for your Epson printer with the black market
little
chip
scan code.
And, everything works on the 72, all the fader adjustments, the whole nine. And, sometimes Elliot's just got to do what he's got to do. And this is not the first time that Elliot has had to do, he's going back in time right now. He currently has one of the Vestax 05 4s, I think it was, with like an optical fader in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was always super difficult, and there wasn't a lot around. And, again, like one of the cool things about us, again, is we can make really quick decisions, and we can partner with people. We had a guy that reached out and says, "Hey, I have one. Do you have a fader for me?" And Elliot's like, "Well, if you're willing to send it to me, I can make sure that I have a fader for you." So he's working on that, reverse engineering that with the digital adapter. But man, it's easy for this guy to watch him work, and just to see the stuff he comes up with. It's amazing.
Right on.
That's awesome.
Super cool. I answered all the questions that everybody had for you, so you're off the hook there. What do you tell people that when they put an Innofader in an S9 and they lose a tension adjustment? What's your pitch back on that?
It's sometimes it might not be for, it just might not be for them. They might not like the fact that the mini Innofader doesn't have the tension adjustment, or the larger faders, they can't go in with the knob. But again, like we really pride ourselves on listening to our customers and making adjustments. If you like a fader a certain way, and let's say the larger faders have tension adjustment, the smaller Innos kind of have a certain level of tension. If you reach out to us and you say, hey, I don't like the way this feels, I need it a little stiffer, I like it a little looser, Elliot's the type of guy that'll make it happen for you. He's actually currently doing that for somebody right now. But in regards to losing the tension adjustment, you set it once anyway, right? Like,
yeah.
Why do we need to keep turning it on soft and high?
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it.
Each their own, right?
Each their own. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey Pat, really quick. What's kind of the maintenance on an Innofader?
You really don't need to do any maintenance on an Innofader, at least for, man, if you like scratch for hours every day, in maybe like a year, you might want to put 1 drop of deoxit on the top rail and 1 drop of deoxit on the bottom rail. I talk to people all the time that have some of the original Innofaders from 8, 9, 10 years ago, and they're like, man, I've been beating this thing up for 10 years. And those are like the stories that I love to hear. Like, hey, I've been using this fader for so long, and really, after about 5 or 6 years, you might want to bend these 6 little pins back, take the front of the case off, and do kind of like a deep clean. But these things last forever, 4 million cycles. They're built like a tank. I was telling Kevin the other day, I mean, this is a meaty fader. This isn't this isn't made of plastic or a bunch of PCBs and screws. Like this thing right here. I was telling Kevin what I want to do is I want to tighten the tension on one of these, put it on a small trim hammer handle, and I want to drive a nail into some trim. I want to put some trim on the wall, and I'm going to take it out and put it in a mixer and scratch with it. That's totally doable.
I mean, I definitely see people at NAMM, using the faders, and they beat on them, man. They have these guys. Some of these DJs have a super heavy hand when they scratch, and they take a lick and keep on ticking, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's cool to know the maintenance on it. It's not, it's easy.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. And most Innofaders, especially these minis. Now it depends. A lot of the stuff like the controllers or the mixers, these things just plug right in and go. You don't have to do any calibration or mess with them. For portables, for example, if you've got a portable and you want to put it in a Rec 45 mount, which is the mount that sits on top, and you have one of the PTO1 faders that are set, that are set for the Rec IF30, which is the internal mount, you might have to hold the button and read the instructions and move the stem from left to right once or twice to flip it out of a mode and put it in a separate mode. But here's the thing. The instructions tell you everything you need to know. And if you can't, you can always go to innofader.com. That's also where our compatibility chart is. That's also where a huge knowledge base of DJs over the years who have posted pictures and their own personal experience with installing maybe an obscure install, a more difficult install. Prime example are like the old Techniques mixers. That's a little bit more difficult install. It's a little bit more involved install. You have to get power from the board for the fader, like the Pro 2. So 98.5% of all of these installs don't require any sort of special soldering or any sort of needing to do anything. There's a very small, very, 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 very small. And if you're listening, more than likely you're probably not one of those people that needs to do anything other than plug it in. But there's a very small window of mixers that needs just a little extra, and that's based on the need for us to find compatibility with that, not us making our products difficult to install. That's us finding a solution because somebody said, hey, I have this and I'd love to put an Innofader in it. And maybe we got to take a couple extra steps to make it happen. But at the end of the day, at least we made it happen.
Yeah. The nice thing about some of the more complicated installs is the faders have test mode on them, and it's going to tell you you're going to get a green light, which means now you can power everything on. If you get a red light, it's telling you you're going to fry something possibly if you plug it in and turn it on. So they're like dummy proof right out of the box. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So right here, Innofader PNP 2. This is our plug and play. This thing is just as good as a Pro 2. It doesn't possess some of the presets that the Pro 2 has. I mean, the Pro 2 has some like really super over the top scratch nerd stuff. If you really want to get deep and you really want to change some settings, you can. But for the most part, they're about the same fader, same full size build, 3 potentiometers. But yeah, you're absolutely right. All of our faders from the minis, the LEDs are very small. They're right here on the bottom. And on the full size faders, they're a little bigger. You can see them right there. Move this there. The green and the green and red. But what happens is you go to our website, you check right on the first page. It says, does the Innofader fit my mixer? You click on that. An alphabetical list is going to populate. You scroll down to Newmark. Let's say Newmark Scratch, which by the way comes with a mini Innofader. But the big move nowadays is a lot of guys are upgrading to the PNP 2. Because it's just such a beast of a fader and it's so easy to install. So what's happening is they'll go to the website, they'll find out which adapter cable do I need. And the PNP has these very simple 3 or 4 prong adapter cables that plugs into the factory plug. And it's either this orientation or that orientation. And if you plug it in and it's the wrong way, you're going to get a red light. And if you get a red light, you just unplug it and flip it over, and you're going to get a green light. That's a circuit breaker. If that's our way of saying, hey, we're going to protect your mixer, we're going to protect the fader, we're going to make sure you plug it in the right way. And once you get the green light, you just move this little red jumper over. The lights go out. The fader's in full operational mode, and you've got 3 dials down here at the bottom: cut, curve, and cut. And it's each side has its own potentiometer. So you play some music coming out of the left, you move the fader over, you move it back and forth. You say, oh, I don't think that's sharp enough. I'm going to turn this clockwise. You dial it in, good to go. You move to the other side, you turn that knob. You're like, oh, yep, that's really sharp. I like that. Or maybe it's too sharp. Let me turn that back a little bit. Yep, good to go. Okay, tension feels good. If it's a little loose, you just line up the stem right here. You use the little Phillips head screwdriver that comes with the Innofader, and you can actually adjust the tension on the fader. And then you mount it to the bracket, you put it in the mixer, and you never have to worry about it again.
Done.
Nice.
Done. And it's awesome. The same way. It's the same way on the mini Innofaders. There's a little switch here. You plug in the fader, you'll get a red light or a green light. Once you get a green light, you flip the switch, the green light goes off, and the fader's ready to go.
It's awesome. It's a little bit of the genius behind Elliot's creation right there.
Yeah. Well, and the next step is, because some people get confused. They'll get a green light and they'll think that it's ready to go, and they don't hear anything when they go to move the fader back and forth. So, they're having a few people that may have been confused by this. I get the phone call all the time. Hey, my fader's not cutting out. I just installed a PNP2. My first question is, the green light still on? Yeah, it's still on and it's not cutting. Oh, okay. Well, move the jumper over because you're in circuit breaker mode right now.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Okay, cool. Oh, it's working now. Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So Elliot's the next iteration will just have a light that just goes off. So there's no need to flip a switch. The circuit breaker is still in place. If you get a red light, you get a red light. You flip it over, you get a green light. It flips the switch for you. The light goes out, and the fader's ready to go.
Right on.
Nice.
Anthony Soho said some mixers allow you to control the cutoff built-in with the built-in mixer controls. Correct. Right?
Yeah. Shout out to my Senate brother, Anthony Soho, DJ Soho. Yeah, absolutely. So, like with the Rain 72 or the Reloop Elite, for instance, the Reloop Elite comes with 3 mini Innofader Pros. Those mini Innofader Pros are the latest iteration of our OEM mini Innofaders. OEM meaning that these are the faders that the manufacturers get from us to use in their products, like the Newmark Scratch or the Reloop Elite or the Zone 96, Akai AMX. And the Reloop Elite has 3 of the mini Pros. And all of them are controllable from the menu. You can go in and you can adjust the cut point, you can adjust the curve, you can recalibrate, you can do a whole myriad of things. But a lot of people are, again, they want to upgrade and they want to get into the Cadillac right here. They want to get into this thing. So you're able to go in with the PNP2. You're going to plug it in. You're going to get your green light. You're going to move your jumper, and then you're going to turn your all of your potentiometers to, I believe, 12 o'clock for the Reloop Elite, and that makes it communicate with the menu on the Reloop Elite. So then you can go in and it'll still have that factory functionality of saying, okay, let's go down to 0.2 or 0.1 or 0.0 millimeter, which is like literally on the verge of bleeding. But it gives you that opportunity, you know, like a Pioneer S9 stops at 0.3 millimeter. You know, they kind of made it to where you can't make the fader bleed, but some people want to go to 1/10 of a millimeter or something less than that, and we give you that option. You know, you can make the fader bleed and then back it down and make it super duper sharp to where you can have, you know, just crazy killer crabs, or you can put a little bit more dead space in there to define your cuts a little more. And again, you know, these aren't just for scratch DJs. You know, the feeling of this fader is unparalleled to anything else on the market, and I sincerely mean that. And it also goes with, you know, with the warranty of the fader. So if you replace your factory fader, like I said earlier, if Pioneer fader breaks, you gotta wait for Pioneer. You know,
they're not cheap either,
and they're not. If the Innofader breaks, you know, which is the chances are slim, but that's what you're buying. You're buying this peace of mind, and knowing that you can ring somebody up and be like, "Hey, we got you. What do you need?" If something does happen, if you flood it with deoxit yourself, I'm gonna send you another one because we just want to make sure everybody's taken care of.
The number of faders that we have sold over the last 8 weeks is crazy. All these DJs at home, nobody's working, so
it has been it's been a good couple months. You know, ironically, in the midst of all the craziness in the world, it seems like everybody's you know, got $150 to upgrade their favorite mixer, or to you know, to get involved in a project that maybe they didn't think they had time for. So yeah, man, it's been awesome, and it's you know, this time has also allowed us the opportunity to really get some stuff taken care of, and you know, work on some of our projects that we have coming up. Yeah, it's been nuts. Thankful, very thankful.
That's awesome. Yep, I'll tell you this really quick. A couple of weeks ago, and I won't say who it was, but a professional baseball player, you know, plays in Major League Baseball. He actually DJs during this quarantine. They're not playing baseball right now, so he picked up DJing, and he actually bought an Innofader from us to put in a 72.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's kind of cool. And he asked for it. He knew about it. Like, I didn't have to sell it to him. He was just like, "Yeah, I want to put an Innofader in my 72."
Major League Baseball, cool. Major League Faders.
There you go. So Pat, we're gonna have to wrap this up pretty quick, but I have two things. Anthony had asked, it's a ways out, what do we have to look forward to at NAMM? Face masks and hand sanitizer. Any quick, like, 30-second sneak peek you can give us on what's coming at NAMM?
Yeah, shout out to the homies Glowtronics with the custom Innofader face masks. We've got the simple face masks. We've got the pull-up face masks. Yeah, right now, you know, we're about to launch. I think you're probably in the next day or two, you'll be able to order the Inno Mix Fader from either Innofader or some of your favorite retailers. And we're also doing a contest, and it's super simple. You don't have to do a bunch of stuff, but this custom, you know, this camo that changes with the light from 12-inch skins. This with the mix fader, the dock, the whole nine. All you got to do is just share a hashtag, and also if you share the hashtag and you tag a friend, we're also giving away another PTO1 that has an Innofader docked in it. So 2 people can win. Super easy. Instagram, Facebook. Just watch our socials. You'll be able to see that.
What's the hashtag?
The hashtag will be Inno Everywhere.
Okay.
Inno Everywhere. that's the hashtag you're going to want to use when you share. It'll be Inno everywhere, Mixfader, Innofader. Man, of course we've got, the Mixfader. There's a few other things that I'm really not at liberty to speak about right now, but yeah, just keeping increasing compatibility. Working with our partners to get some cool stuff out to the DJs. And oh yeah, speaking of cool stuff out to the DJs, I don't know how you guys. We got a prize pack. We got these Innofader Glowtronic slip mats. Whatever size you need. So I'll let you guys figure out how you want to pick the viewer that's watching. But we got an Innofader tee in your size. I've got a bunch of Innofader record labels and cue markers. I've got a bunch of lanyard keychains. So and also an Innofader Glowtronics face mask for them as well.
There you go. Post a picture of your DJ gear that's got an Innofader in it. Use the hashtag Innoeverywhere, and we'll just do some random. We'll just randomly pick some names. It's in no pictures. Fine, Kevin, no pictures. Hashtag Innoeverywhere. Okay, whatever.
Yep.
You guys should have been prepped for this. I had no input on how we're going to pick a winner. So. All right, so slip mats, t-shirts, swag pack. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, man. And stay tuned to Innofader social media for how you're going to be able to win this brand new PTO1 with the Mixfader. Be one of the first people to have an Inno Mixfader skinned out, custom Glowtronic slip mats, the whole nine.
Nice. It's cool.
Shouts to 12-inch skins. Shouts to MWM Mixfader. Shouts to Glowtronics. And shouts to agiprodj for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Pat.
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate your time, man.
Thank you guys, man. Anytime.
Awesome.
All right, talk
so that takes us to part 2. We're going to be talking to DJ Ryan O in just a minute. And hey, Ryan, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, Ty?
I'm doing well. Really good. Did you just wrap up, or are you just getting ready to start?
Yeah. No, I'm good, man. My shirt's a little wet, and I just wrapped up here, so I'm ready to go, man. And big thank you to all the viewers staying tuned. I don't have any slip mats or fun Innofader gear, but I got some cool stories to tell.
Right on. Kevin, do you want to roll Ryan's quick reel, and we can take a look at what Ryan's been up to?
Ryan Ettinger, also known as DJ Ryan O, is trying to bring levity to those trapped indoors. He's offering free 40-minute block parties where people can dance on porches, driveways, and decks as a way to escape the daily routine of shelter-in-place orders.
About 2 weeks ago, I was kind of brainstorming, and DriveUpDJ.com was born. It's a free service across the Bay Area, bringing people together, having fun in a socially safe and socially distant manner.
A local DJ is now taking bookings for his cool new idea, Drive Up Dance Parties.
There you go. See, you make a Y with your hands, with an M, with a C, with an A. That's right. Y, M,
YMCA. That's DJ Ryan O helping these twins celebrate their birthdays today. The Moraga resident came up with the idea to bring a little joy to neighbors who are stuck at home. He put together his DJ gear and his SUV, and that's when DriveUpDJ was born. Anyone can request a drive up, and it's all free.
And the cool thing is that sometimes I never know exactly what I'm going to get into, and so I may have a neighborhood that wants me doing a party that's a quarter-mile long or maybe a half-mile long. My speaker technology allows us to do that, and the great thing about that is we get all kinds of neighbors across a lot of mixes of diversity. A lot of DJs want to just go online and live stream, but I think interaction in a very safe manner, people are missing that because everything is online these days, and so I really wanted to try to find that spot where people could try to do something with themselves and get some exercise in a socially safe manner.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Really cool. So, everybody, this is DJ Ryan O. You're located down the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, right outside San Francisco, Northern California.
On. Yeah, it's looks like it's beautiful there.
Yeah, it is. It's about 73 degrees, and I just finished a drive-up party, which I can get into, but I'll finish your material here.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, let's just get into it. So, we've all been stuck at home. A lot of us have had all of our gigs canceled, or the majority of our gigs canceled, and then you came up with DriveUpDJ.
Yeah, so it's been pretty cool. Now I will specify that I don't do them for free anymore. I did so many of them, and I started to be quite a bit. But so it's a great revenue opportunity. But I'm going to show some technology in a second. But I do want to say that this concept came up as a brainstorm with a couple of other DJs, Rob Ferre and Graham Silva, Rob in Utah and Graham in Southern California, and we were really trying to figure out how can we bring entertainment to the streets and do so in a socially distant manner. And we all do it slightly different, but as you can see in the videos, it's a high level of engagement and interaction, definitely spaced apart and so forth. But what I really want to talk about today is what enabled me to do this, right? There's a big creative element in terms of programming, in terms of personality, but the technology piece is what's really cool. And I think a lot of DJs would be interested in that. And by the way, if you're on social media, feel free to go check me out on Instagram at DJ Ryan O. Facebook DJ Space Rhino. If you have any questions, follow me. Happy to answer it. But about a year and a half ago or so, I started working with Kevin, and he was telling me about your Sennheiser, and I'm actually going to show some pictures here. He was telling me about the Sennheiser mic packs that or video mic packs that allow you to make your speakers portable. And I'm going to actually flip here and show some pictures. Can you guys see here? So what I did was I took my SUV. It's just a basic Toyota. And over here is nothing fancy, but this is parked on the street. I've got my laptop hooked up to a DJ Ego 2, which is hooked up to a Duracell power pack. And then I've got a couple of portable batteries right over there. I think that one's from Colorado Center Light, with the Sennheiser that I got from AGI Pro DJ, and a Yamaha MG06 mixer. And here's the cool thing. So this is the awesome thing, is it? So coming out here, I've got my transmitter, and that transmitter today is hooked up to speakers that are relatively close. But I'm going to take you over to speakers, and I'm going to tell you about how much this has helped me and saved me. So that transmitter is broadcasting live to this Sennheiser speaker that's right over here. As you can see here, this is where we had a birthday party for a 5-year-old, and then this other speaker over here. And what's pretty cool about this is these speakers are not very far apart, but I've gotten well over a quarter of a mile range when I put these speakers out. And so I'm able to do a block sometimes of, let's say, 40, 50 houses with these speakers placed. I put my car in the middle, and I place these speakers, and then I use sometimes some QST K12s or some EVs, and it's all resonating right here from the rooftop of my car. And then this is also plugged into another lithium-ion battery. And the other piece, and then I'll stop here for some questions, but the other piece that I think is really, really interesting is that the wireless technology enables me to set up and tear down in about 7 minutes. And while it might be something that's kind of common for DJs, it's not common for most attendees. And so they think that it's pretty cool, and it's just a solution that has really changed my life in terms of DJing, and has enabled me to make good money as well, because I can come in and get out and do a show in about 45 minutes. So let me pause there, Ty, and see what kind of questions you have, and happy to expand on different pieces.
Ty, I have a question right off the bat.
Ramon has a question.
Where's the flux capacitor?
Ramon, go for it.
Where's the flux capacitor in your car? Because I mean, you got all kinds of cool gear in there.
So you're running everything off the little Duracell pack, is that right?
Sort of.
Except for the speakers.
I'm running most of it, actually. Yeah, so I'm running my laptop off the Duracell pack, and that's really just a backup. I also have an Engine Star, which is like a double backup. If I need to play for like 3 hours, I can get that easily. But the Sennheiser, this is a Sennheiser EWG4, and this Yamaha MG06 mixer is run off of this battery. Can you guys see it right there? And that battery is a lithium-ion battery. It gives me about 8 hours of power. And then the transmitter is run off of another, I had this one kind of custom made for 12 volt and 15 volt, but is run off of another battery. And you can see it's been going, and it's going full steam. Now, you could put batteries in there, but there's really no need to do that. And then the speakers themselves are battery powered, correct?
Oh, right on.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So Ryan, has your business, as you're getting gigs, is it just word of mouth?
Any listeners have any questions? Because I can't hear Ramon for whatever reason.
Oh, I basically asked you about your gigs. Are you doing advertising? Is it all word of mouth? I mean, obviously you got a huge bump from the media coverage, right? So
yeah. So it was really interesting when I started this. I wanted to do it as a way to get back to the community, to recognize first responders, and doctors and nurses and Amazon drivers and FedEx drivers and everyone that helps deliver all the products that you guys buy. So I did do a number of them for free. And then I think what happened was the San Francisco Chronicle ran a story, and then literally every weekend, one weekend I did 30 parties in 1 week. I did 15 in one day, 15, 30-minute parties in one day. And I did it Saturday and I did it Sunday of Easter weekend. And I had I had ABC, Fox, ABC, Fox, CBS, and one other media outlet come and follow me around. And then my understanding is that it then spread virally onto Headline News Network and I think potentially CNN. And then what happened is people started covering it on social media in a lot of community groups, and so it kind of spread virally. And so now, I'm booked up. I do maybe 10 of these a week, and it's a really cool revenue stream that really wouldn't be possible if I didn't have those speakers. Now, there's a whole other element of the entertainment piece and the dances I lead and the creative games that I do. A lot of it's geared not only to kids and families, but it's geared to neighborhoods. I might have 100, 200 people that are out in front of their homes drinking, having a happy hour, and it's those speakers that are spread all around. And I think I have the ability to use 6 speakers if I need to.
yeah, that's the nice thing about the system is it's a single point of transmission, and then as many receivers as you can tune in. So it's just like a radio.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And again, for people that are just tuning in, this looks a little kind of thrown together because I broadcast out of the back of my vehicle. No one else sees it. But it really, when you're able to go to someone's house and just kind of put your speakers up in a matter that's pretty simple, and I've got kind of here signs for Venmo and for donations. It just, I mean, there's no wires. It's really clean, really, really nice. Yeah, so happy to take more questions and chat more about it.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and pop them into the chat there, and we'll push those to the screen, and we'll get Ryan to take your questions. DJ True said that Honda EU 2000 generator will come in handy for these kind of gigs. I'm sure it will. A little noisy, but the nice thing about that.
The cool thing about these is battery powered.
Yep, the lithium packs. Yep, for sure.
Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Now, I have a question for you, Ryan. Are you going to be continuing to do this even after this whole thing is over? Do you see yourself as being part of your business model from here on out?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, Ramon. And the answer is we'll see. I think it's a high possibility. So when I started the model, it was really geared towards just kind of quick little drive-up parties, kind of to bring neighborhoods together. And then now I've kind of branched the model off to have different services like graduation, teacher appreciation, birthdays. And I think if there's a demand for it, I think I probably will. And the reason being is from a profitability and revenue standpoint, it's a lot more profitable than going and setting up and lugging all the equipment. Now, I've seen a lot of DJs out there. I mean, if you go on Facebook, a lot of the groups, there's a lot of people that are doing something similar. And they might be using Bose S1s, but a lot of them are going and kind of setting up the gear. And I think that just takes a significant amount of time. So I do potentially, we'll see if the demand's there. It's certainly here for the rest of the summer, especially in California with the shelter in place keeping going, and makes up for a lot of the weddings that I've had canceled.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. Congrats to you for being nimble and thinking out of the box and quickly and clearly you found something that filled a very well needed niche. So congrats on that, man.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. True had said, did you say what kind of speakers you're using? What are they again?
So here's the interesting part. I'm not a huge Behringer fan, but these are actually speakers that I use for my wedding ceremonies. These are Behringer Europort MPA 200 BTs. And be honest with you guys, they are fantastic. They're light, They're easy. They've got great range. I can easily cover 100+ people with 2 of them, maybe 150. But I do for larger events, I'll use the QSC K12s, or I've got EVs. I can't remember the name of the EVs I have, but I have EVs. But those battery powered Behringer Euroports are actually pretty good. I don't know what you guys have to say about the Behringer family, but these ones for this particular application work quite well.
You know, I have no complaints about Behringer stuff. Honestly, being that we are a almost 100% mail order business, and where Behringer stuff is price pointed at, they're definitely products that I think are more of like a grab in a store and go kind of thing. So
Right.
it's again, I have nothing bad to say about them at all. And I mean, it sounds like it wasn't your first choice, but it definitely again filled a niche of a product that you needed. So
yeah, and they haven't let me down. I mean, I've probably used them well over 100 times. It's funny because it's mostly ceremony speakers, but you use 20, 30 times a season. I'm a single op. But now, I mean, I've used them so much, and they're still going strong.
Yeah, I think like the Maui Goes would work. Eon 1 Compacts would do the job. So for sure.
Actually, speak of the devil, there is the backup Maui.
Oh, look at that! Look at the Maui's in there.
Go. Ready,
just in case.
Ready to run. Yeah.
I love the little magnets and you got QR codes for everything.
Yeah. So these are those are kind of magnets. And then the other thing I do, so I've got traffic cones that are branded. I just had stickers made. I've got face masks that are branded. I also sell face masks to a lot of the events. And then I've got over here a traffic cade that has a QR code over to my website, and then a QR code straight to Venmo. And the reason that's really helpful is I do several different kinds of gigs. Some of them are more kind of community service. Others of them are paid gigs. And so I might go to a street and I'll put that out and I'll talk about the fact that a lot of my business has been canceled, and that I'm coming out and bringing folks together. And you wouldn't believe, people aren't carrying cash on them, but they're carrying their phones. And when I used to kind of mention my name, and I'm known in this part of in part of the Bay Area, but now people just go up, take a quick picture, and bam, 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 and the donations just come in. It's pretty interesting,
awesome.
Pretty cool.
That's fantastic. Not to mention your Karma wallet is probably overflowing, which is fantastic. Also.
Yeah. I like how you said that, Ty. That's you should coin that, Karma wallet.
My Karma wallet. Well, clearly it is, and I mean, like you said, it was definitely something that you couldn't sustain doing for free, but a lot of people wouldn't think, I'm just going to go out and do this for free. So, kudos to you, and, big props to you for just going out and, doing the job and spreading the goodwill and the love, especially when a lot of people were nervous and scared and people are hurting for money, and a lot of people don't know what their future looks like. And so congrats to you on that, man.
Thank you. And thanks again to both of you. Thanks for, I'm happy to stay on and answer questions, but thanks for you guys. And thanks, Kevin, for sharing some of these secrets on speaker technology like a year and a half ago. The stuff I bought from you guys has just saved my life. And I mean, some DJs might think I got to make an investment, right? Stuff's not cheap, but I've used it in so many applications that it is well worth it. It is absolutely paid off 1,000 times over to Sunday. And so I strongly recommend buying those Sennheiser wireless speaker packs from agiprodj. They're just fantastic.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ryan. They're not cheap for sure, but they are perfect for the job. And like you said, they pay for themselves many times over. And you'll be surprised how many times you'll come up with I can use them for that, and I can use them for that. So
when you didn't even think you would need them at an event, you just all of a sudden they come in handy.
Yeah. Does anybody else have?
I hooked my EVs up to these. My EV50s go up to them. I use them all the time.
Right on. Yeah, you can connect them to just about anything, for sure.
Hey Ryan, really quick, when you're not using that as your mobile setup, what's your other setup that you use, like when you're doing at a wedding or something like that? What's your main setup there?
Yeah, so good question. So it's the Evolve 50s with a DDJ 1000 is pretty much my main gear, and then I've got a sub mixer for the mics. I've got I carry, so I'm a DJ that carries. I like to carry a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of stuff. That's not the right way to put it. I like to carry good technology and backup. So I carry two Sennheiser handheld, the EW G4 handhelds. Plus, I'm a big fan of the headset mics, so I got one of these. Let's see, and then just basic lights, the Chalvets and up lights and the whole 9 yards, sparklers and the whole 9 yards. But that's mostly what I use, and then I've got a combination of these speakers I use when I do like weddings where I have to have sound in different places, or when I'm in a room that's very big. I really don't like when all the sound's coming from up front. So I'll take the Evolve 50s, put them up front. I'll put these satellites or the QSC K12s in the back. But I'm not super fancy. I'm pretty nimble in how I work that stuff. But I always use my Sennheiser wireless speaker technology, even if it's just for two speakers in the back, or sometimes I'll play in a lot of older hotels or older buildings, and I'll have to travel sound through 4 or 5 rooms with walls, and that's where that technology comes in. So, yeah,
they're pretty amazing. I mean, it's they're just amazing. They just work, and they work really well. There are other solutions out there that are less expensive, but they don't perform the same. There's just no comparison.
Yeah. Oh, and I am. Might get some tomatoes thrown at me, but I'm a virtual DJ user. I am. I use Serato. All right. When I played in the clubs back in early 2000s, late 90s in New York and San Francisco, I was all Serato. Serato I started in 2005 with Serato. I love Serato, but for whatever reason, I've been a virtual DJ user for the last 15 years. And I'm a PC user. I use a Lenovo Games PC. But for here, interestingly enough, the other thing is I use this Newmark DJ Go-To Touch to do these kinds of events. It's fantastic. It's easy. It's lightweight, simple. And then yeah.
Are you using that with virtual stuff. DJ?
Yep. And it actually works really. It actually works really well. It works better than my DJay 1000. I think I've got to turn that out. I used to be a big Denon fan. I still like Denon. I've got an MC 7000 as well that I'm going to get cranking here. But yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Ryan, what's your website again? Your DJ business website, and then for the DriveUpDJ.
Yeah. So my DJ business website is DJRyanO. So that's all letters .com. My DriveUp website is DriveUpDJ.com. Pretty cool name. I mean, it can be used all sorts of places. And I'm on. Yeah, it is. And I kind of got it, coined it, registered it.
Did you trademark that yet? You gotta trademark that, man.
I've done the legal stuff around it. Let's see here. And then on Instagram at DJRyanO and a Facebook DJ Space Rhino. Yeah, and if folks want to connect with me there, happy to answer questions or share more about it. I've got a lot of other ideas on what to do with this business because this, our world is changing, and I know we've talked about it a lot, so I'm not going to go into it. But these days of large parties, I don't know when they're going to come back, and we need to constantly innovate. And so I've got other ideas up my sleeve in the same genre, and all of them revolve around using that wireless speaker technology.
Well, we are definitely curious to see what you've got coming down the pipeline, Ryan. And once you become famous with it, loop us back in and give us an update and tell us how things worked out and how your best laid plans came out. And I'm hopefully it's as successful, if not more successful, than the DriveUpDJ.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it, and happy to come back on and share more as we scale the business elsewhere. So.
Right,
not geographically, just in other genres. So.
Hey, real quick, Ryan, are you a single op or are you multi-op?
Yeah, so good question. So I am a single op, and I would say more of a boutique DJ. In fact, the way I'd kind of describe myself is, a DJ, but I focus a lot on MC work, engaging crowds, and so a lot of creativity around the engagement piece, and I do a ton of stuff with kids. As well. But yeah, single op, Have been single op forever. I just kind of like sort of flying in that space.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, when we brought you on, you'd worked up quite a sweat, I think, from your gig.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I don't really look good. And I guess Patrick says I need an Innofader t-shirt. What's the matter, Patrick? My DJ Rhino shirt doesn't do it, but I'm happy. I'm happy if you want to send me one, man. Hook it up. Happy to do that. But yeah, no, it's been really good. And yeah, so now I'm gonna take this equipment down. I'll be out of here in probably 7 minutes and back on the road. And that's the other thing is that sometimes I'll do 3 parties within a 3 hour or 3 hour window, and I'll go to one, I'll roll it for 45 minutes, clean up, drive to the next, set up, clean up. And so again, that ability to be agile and have that rapid setup and tear down and breakdown is only possible because of the speaker technology and the speakers I use and how I kind of outfitted this all set up. So.
Right on. Nice. That's very cool. That's, again, a completely innovative way to use a piece of technology that's clearly paid for itself many times over, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Right, Any other questions?
No, that doesn't look like. Looks like that's it. It looks like Pat's going to hook you up with a t-shirt, so we'll connect you guys up either probably tomorrow morning sometime, and we'll get you taken care of. Ryan, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you sharing your amazing story with us, and keep rocking it, man.
Yeah, Kevin, Ty, Ramon, thank you guys very much. And to everyone out there, appreciate you tuning in. If you want more, find me on Instagram at DJ Rhino. And cheers, guys. Thank you to AGI Pro DJ. Cheers. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Ty, one of the things that I forgot to mention was I've been thinking about it, and I got to figure out how I'm going to do it. I actually live on a cul-de-sac, as you know. And I've been thinking about, I have a huge blow-up projector, like a screen that I could actually, and I have a nice projector that I could throw movies onto it. I just got to figure out the social distancing thing, but I've been thinking about maybe closing out everybody, 6 feet apart, and maybe we could watch like a movie outside sometime over the summer. But being able to do that with the wireless speaker system is I could set up, since I have multiple speakers, I could set up speakers down the street and different houses just plug in and then have audio going through and the screen going. So
yep.
It's another thing.
Yeah, we've seen people that have done, really large screens, and then, like you said, the social distancing thing. And so whether it's like a parking lot or a large cul-de-sac, you put a big screen up, you could do wireless speakers to the front, and then do like an FM transmitter, and you could have people in their cars, right? And then just, stagger cars in the parking lot and do like a drive-in movie. That'd be super cool. And, another... there's obviously a lot of legal ramifications about, showing a movie in public that you don't own the rights to, but nobody's looking.
Romantic.
I didn't say to do it. So, cool, man.
Not closing off the street too.
Right, exactly. So
you'll have to add this camera.
I'm not in the admin panel.
Okay.
Slight technical difficulties. I got Kevin running all over the place. He's gonna bounce this third camera in, and we're gonna do a quick unboxing of a Denon DJ Prime Go. Ooh. And for anybody that's on our email list, we got hey, look at that! Woohoo! Look at those shoes. Those are bright.
Shoes. I know.
Yeah, they are. So anybody that's on our mailing list probably got our email this afternoon that we got in a small pallet of Rain 12s. They're B stocks, but they're a hell of a price, $1,000 a pair. Full disclosure, they are B stocks. They're not in original packaging. They're nice and clean. They have a 90-day warranty. You can add an extended warranty during checkout. They've got full coverage from Rain. You're going to get support from them. They're guaranteed to not be DOA. If they are, they're going to take care of you. It's kind of like an all sales final kind of a deal, because hey, it's $1,000 for a pair of 12s. But so I think we've got like 6 pair of those left, and then I know Kevin just scooped up the last few that were available this afternoon. So we'll have some more coming in next week. But they're gonna go fast. Yeah, they will for sure. We'll at least pop one of those out of the box as well, and we'll let everybody take a look at the quality or the condition that these B stocks are in. They're really nice. So I'm going to slide my laptop off to the side here.
Hey, Ty, really quick, maybe you want to just tell them too what a B stock really is too, because some people don't.
That's a great point, Ramon. A B stock unit is likely a piece that if you received an item that was DOA, you would, and like let's say you ordered a 12 from us and it was DOA and we got you a label from Rain and it went back to Rain and we got you a brand new 12 or Rain shipped you out a replacement 12. That DOA unit, whatever the problem was, would be troubleshooting would be done by InMusic with Rain HQ. They'd address it, take care of it, refurbish it, whatever it takes to put new parts and new components into the unit. And then it gets tested. It gets put through the paces to make sure it's certifiable. And then it becomes a B stock unit. And as dealers, we have the ability to buy some of these B stock units and sell them at amazing prices. And I know, Ramon, you said you were considering picking up a pair. You're going to sleep on it tonight. So that's what a B stock unit is. There's nothing wrong. I mean, there was something wrong with them. There's technically nothing wrong with them now. So other than, being that it's not factory new, they don't put the full 1-year warranty on it, but that 1-year warranty comes at a price. So rather than paying $799, you're paying $500 a piece or $1,000 for a pair of them. So,
and you can throw on the additional warranty on there too.
So exactly. We sell 2 and 4 year accidental warranties that you can tack on during checkout. So I would strongly recommend that. If you can't swing it, you can always roll the dice, but I think a 2-year warranty is a couple $100 to add on. So anyway, so there you go. Yeah. You ready? Kevin's ready. So we're going to unbox a Ramon, can you hear me? Everybody okay? Yep. Like from the other camera? Yep. Okay, cool. So we'll do an unbox of a Prime Go. Anybody that doesn't know what a Prime Go is, this is Den and DJ's latest release from the Prime series. Go, meaning that it is a battery-powered unit, so it's fully battery-powered, and you can use it for mobile DJing without power. It's got a battery in it. I believe the time frame on the battery is about 4 hours or so, plus or minus.
And I think they said that when we talked to Stu about that, I think they said that that's conservative too.
He said it was pretty conservative. Yeah, he said it was 4.5 hours. So I mean, obviously, it's got a nice battery gauge on the cover that shows you that what your battery life is left. Got an IEC cable charging it. A nice Den and DJ lanyard. Looks like a little cloth to clean the screen off. 7-inch touchscreen or smaller?
I don't remember.
7-inch.
Can you?
Yeah.
Is it 7?
Okay. Yep, I have it in front. 7-inch HD touchscreen with gestures. And just so you guys know too, the Denon screens with the gestures, it's really nice. I mean, you're talking iPhone quality, smooth,
multi-touch, right?
Multi-touch. Yep.
Multi-touch gesture screen. So it's got all the swiping gestures and everything, which a lot of screens out there are it's just a straight capacitive touch screen. So it's just one function at a time where you can use 2 hands and do zooms. You can stretch and manipulate the screen as well. So it's like Ramon said, it's like an iOS device versus that's not an iOS device. I'm not going to completely unbox the wall wart and everything and dig all these cables out, but here it is. It's it's not huge at all. Let me grab the other. It's 15-inch MacBook
has
Pro.
Any power on it?
That's 15-inch MacBook Pro. So that's how small it is. That's a
you want to see if that has power on it?
What's that? Oh, you want to see if the battery works?
Yeah, let's see if they have a little bit. I think they might have a little juice on it. There you go. Turn on the light show.
That's cool.
So, and then obviously this has Wi-Fi in it. So, turn on your hotspot. You could have Tidal service if you're subscribed to it. Stream any of the music on there. Really nice. I mean, they did a really good job. This thing is, if you're going to do a little party, this is perfect for that. And it's got all the Pro I/O on the back too. That's awesome.
Oh, I think that was pretty much all the battery that it had.
It was press and hold to turn on.
Okay.
But it does go through an operating system shutdown.
Right.
Just press and hold to turn on all the way.
Yeah.
Very cool. Can we show the back, the ins and outs on it?
Yep. Give me one sec.
I for those guys that are, doing beach ceremonies and just kind of things like that, there's plenty of guys, especially wineries and stuff. This thing's going to be, you need this. You really do. You're going to save yourself a lot of headache.
Yeah. So XLR balanced out. It's got a stereo mono switch. You've got unbalanced RCA master out. It's got a booth out. Wow, come on, forget about it. RCA aux in, mic 1, mic 2 combo, so XLR 1/4 inch combo, locking USB. It's also got a USB A socket for a USB stick, and then it also has the Ethernet link cable, so you can connect it into one of the Prime mixers and to network them up that way also.
Also works with sound switch.
Oh, correct. And then you can also connect the sound switch interface to it as well. Dual headphone jack in the front, 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, and then headphone controls, level, and then the aux volume also. And then lastly, for input, SD card slot. This is super handy, right? Like SD cards are micro tiny. So to have an emergency SD card and because you might be using your USB stick for something else, that's fantastic. Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's it. What else? What did I miss, Kevin? Anything?
As at the time of this live, there are 2 available.
Yeah. So we do have 2 of these in stock. This one, which is obviously brand new, and then we got another one available, possibly third, who knows? But they are available and in stock right now. Are you going to walk me out in the warehouse?
Yep. Or
you want me to go get it?
I'll shoot the back wall. You can grab it.
Okay, cool.
Hey, thanks guys so much for watching our live. We really appreciate you guys, and please also share this once it those are Ty's energy drinks. Some of the cool gear that we have.
Episode 8. That sponsorship.
Hey, Kevin,
balls. Come on.
Do we still have any more of those? I can't remember. Do we still have any more of those 20-year Serato?
2 left.
There's 2
left.
Those 2 that are in the wall.
Those 2 in the wall are what's left.
Gotcha.
Yeah, lots of new control vinyl out right now, all in stock. So this is the B stock 12. They're in a brown box. It's a very sturdy brown box. You can see at least this unit. We believe they're all the Gen 2. We have nothing to indicate that any of them aren't the Gen 2. So IEC cable, USB cable.
I don't think of any company I've ever seen any B-stock items. They've never put anything really B-stock that's been beat up, back into circulation. I feel like there's a certain level of quality that it needs to meet in order for it to be B-stock resellable.
Yeah, so, definitely. So they're ready to go. It's got the...
is it quick release or is it...
It is the quick release adapter. Rain slip mat. Comes with the platter. This is clean. It's really clean. So there you go. That's what they look like. You can see obviously they're not going to be perfect. They might have a little scuff on them here and there. Might be paint, might be Sharpied in, but these are clean, guys. These look really good. $1,000 a pair.
And who cares? To me, if you ask me, I don't really care if it's got a scuff here and there because for most guys, those are going to go into a road case anyway. You're never going to see the sides of it ever again.
Or they're going to be the home studio set.
Or a home studio setup. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody have any questions about the Prime Go or the B-Stock Rain 12s?
Pat wants to know how we can connect the sound switch to USB to Cat 5.
So
you need a dongle. You need a...
Yeah.
I don't remember how we did it. You have to ask Stu.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we get to that.
Yeah, you just need the little Ethernet interface. But yeah, definitely we can post up links below of the different pieces that you need for sure. Pat says Innofader compatibility coming up soon for the Prime Go. Yeah, good luck, man. There's no room in there, but I'm sure a mini could fit in there. 12-inch skins will take care of refresh on the 12s for sure. Big shout out to Jared. I saw him in here earlier. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you're looking for any kind of modifications, custom graphics, you want to do a color change, Jared at 12-inch skins is your guy for sure.
Yep. So Cartel.
Yeah. That's it. I got nothing else. Except for I don't like that view at all. What's up? Boom, that's better. Hey, everybody. So thank you so much for joining us. Ramon, thanks for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. My man in the chair, Kevin. Big shout out to Kevin here at agiprodj for putting all these shows together and doing all the production. It takes a lot of work to put these together. So we big shout out to Kevin, and we really appreciate all the work that he does here to put these live shows, these after-hour shows together. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight.
Next week, it should be DJ Zimmy with the private stock records.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So Kevin just reminded me next week is going to be DJ Zimmy from Portland, Oregon. He's going to be joining us talking about private stock records and what he's up to, the documentary, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll hang out with Zimmy next week. Don't forget to, if you want, after these are up live later on, make sure you share them, like and comment. We really appreciate that. Everybody, thanks for joining us. We will see you. What?
I was going to say, don't forget, if you guys have any suggestions on DJs you want to see on the show, we're working on some amazing DJs. It's in the works, but we might be able to get Z-Trip pretty soon. So, and if you guys haven't checked out some of the stuff, it's I talked to him. He's a little busy right now. He just did EDC, but he's definitely in for the mix. Just our calendars have to align, but
right on.
Stay tuned for that.
Right on. Very cool. Yeah. So we got lots of stuff in the works coming up. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us after hours tonight. I know on the East Coast it's pretty late, and if you're anywhere else in the world, it's even later. So huge thank you to everybody for joining us. Thank you so much, Pat from Innofader, for hanging out with us, representing Audio Innovate and Innofader, giving us a little backstory on your life and all the awesome contributions you and Elliot have done for the DJ community. On behalf of myself, DJ Avenue, Ramon, and Mr. Shoop, driving the man in the chair, I'm Ty from AGI Pro DJ. Thanks for watching tonight, everybody.
Good night, guys.